you doing? It's JT. We have a issue with my car, so we're gonna do a video here. Sorry, somebody's coming out the door over there. We're gonna do a short video here. Not gonna get into a lot of fluff. That will give you an idea what we're gonna do. I'm gonna spin you around here in a minute, show you the setup, and show you what you're gonna need so you can do this yourself. Seen some other videos and they do a good job, but let's do one of our own. So let me flip you around. Alright, so what I got myself is I got a tree, I got some shade, and I got one of these things. Now, most of y'all might say, what on God's earth that for? Well, if you've owned an HHR and you get a water leak, you're going to know what this is for. Okay. Now, what I have is a 2007 HHR. Okay. Alright. And what you're going to need is a small flathead, like so. So, you're going to need a 9 30-seconds, like so. Going to need a 5/8, like so. And you're going to need a gasket like this. Alright. Now, I will put down in the link where I ordered this from. Okay, but here's the information. So, I had done my own makeshift, but it didn't hold. Okay, so what we got is that this little guy here, you're going to need this for these here. There's one here, can't see it because of the gasket, and there's one over here. So, okay, so that's what you're going to need this for. We'll give it a second to focus. Okay, all right, and then this one is for your wipers, because you've got one bolt, and this is how you're going to take the bolt off. Okay. All right. Now the reason I use this smaller tip is to take this off, because there's the bolt that we're going to need, and here's the cover. Okay. Now when the cover's on, it sits like this. Okay. So what we're going to do, take the flathead. See? Give it a second to focus. Take the flathead, put it right here, and it pops right off. Okay, try to do it one-handed. Boom, pops right off, and I can see where it drops, so I'm not losing it. Doesn't break it, just get it right here. So. I personally just get it loose and then take it off with my fingers. Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to leave those sitting there, but those are your two bolts. I have a small table set up behind the camera here, and I'm going to put these right there so they don't go anywhere. Alright, now with the hood open, this one comes off pretty easy. So lift, just do a couple little turns, pulls right off. Again, the wiper goes on the table right behind the camera. Alright, now this one obviously you can't do that with. Okay, so what we do is we close the hood a little bit. Okay, and then it just pops right off. So I've taken the bolt off. We're having an issue. Lift. Slight adjustment. Comes right off. With this drag bikes. People who own the company gave me this shirt. Outstanding team, great people. No problem with a shameless plug. Alright, we got two wipers off. Alright, now we need to get the hood back up. Alright, so we have our hood back up. We have both our wipers off. Okay, now we got to get rid of some bolts. All right. Now the first thing I do is right here, there's a little clip. So if it doesn't pull out, take your tiny flathead, push some little tabs so you don't break this cut, and then pull it out. There's a couple more here. Now you can do it now or you can do it later. Okay. What these are is they hold this harness. Okay. I would suggest doing this after your car's been sitting for a bit so it's not hot. Unlike mine, I just got back from the store. Okay. All right. And I personally reach and grab it since my car is hot. I'm going to pull it up here, keep it off the back of my engine because my engine is still warm. Put my flathead back on the table. I'm not going to lay it up here because it knocks over. And it's nice because apparently I have these weird stick bugs I got to clean out too. So again, I just loosen it up until I can get them off by hand. I also find pulling that off and just turning the socket works too. So whichever works for you. I have a short socket, so I'm going to leave it on so I don't lose the socket. God knows I got plenty of them over there. Now I did this once before a few months ago, but I didn't order the official gasket that goes here. I did this makeshift thing with Gorilla Tape and it didn't hold. Now I got some rain, we got rain coming in the next couple days, so I want to make sure I get this board covered up this time. Now I have again, this is a 2007 HHR. My screw is not staying up here. I'm putting it on my table. It's a 2007. It's a HHR LT. It's all pretty much stock. The only thing, everything I've done has been done by one repair company, and I've done a lot to this car. Far more. I could buy 3 cars with what I put in this thing, but I don't like working on this stuff. So. But it's a 2007 HHR. I've had it for a little over 2 years. When I got it, it had 126,000 miles on it. It currently has 197,000. I do a lot of drag racing stuff around the country. Second screw off, going on the table behind me so I don't lose it. And I put over 21,900 miles on this car just last year. And I was helping NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle Team, Andy Rollins. I was helping the XDA Drag Racing Series, Man Cup Drag Racing Series. I was supporting dragbike.com, supporting Vantine Racing, Snitz Racing, APE, Robert Parker, Block Racing. Get this off, AFM Racing. So that's who was helping me out last year. So it's me and this little car have got a lot of adventuring last year. So, obviously this year sucks because of the COVID crap, but we'll get back to it. We'll get back to racing. Screw. I do not mess around with these screws because again, I'm in a backyard, so I have grass down here. So as soon as you get one bolt off, pause what you're doing, walk back over, set it down on your table. Now on my table I've got this little magnetic bowl, but if you don't have a bowl, put them up because I've learned my lesson the hard way that you'll either lose your wrench, lose your socket, whatever be the case. So a little table, if you don't have a table, put down a towel. Do not put it on your car. To me, if you use a towel, if you're like in a asphalt, like you live in an apartment complex, maybe put it on a piece of cardboard. So, alright, so I've got each one out. My bolt is in my container. I've got all my bolts, so it's loose. This, I'm not going to set down here, because God knows we are notorious for doing it. I'm going to set it on the table behind me. Okay. And once you lift this cowl, there's going to be one more thing you got to disconnect. There's no screw or bolt. There's a little rubber boot right here. This is your water squirter. This runs to your reservoir up here. Okay. just unplug it from this side of the squirter. Leave all this attached. There's no reason to take it off. You can see my handiwork that didn't work. So, all right. Now once you have that done, I'm going to put it here, pull it off. Okay. The last time I pulled my cowl off, I also painted it. I used trim paint like you use on a bumper because it was all kind of sun dried. Now this worked for about 3 storms, and then it didn't hold. So, because I was a cheapskate and I had to go somewhere, and I didn't want to buy it. So now we get to do it again. Once again, this is the part number. Now I'll put the link to the website that I bought it from in the description below. If you like this video, because I've got to do a headlight video here soon. If y'all like the video and want me to do more, let me know. I'll do some more. I'm also using the tiny screwdriver to open this. Minimize your tools. Doesn't take a lot to do this. You don't have to pay someone hundreds of dollars to do this. Okay. Now this is going to have to come off because this is your adhesive. This is what's going to generate your seal. Okay. But before we take that off, I want to match it up and make sure I ordered the right one. You see the cutout here, that's not for any kind of windshield wiper thing. Okay. That's for your bolt pattern. Okay. Alright, now this part here is always tough because there's very little lip here. Okay. So that's going to be a beast to get in there. But we'll make it work. Alright, that's where it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this out. I'm going to wipe this off. Now, if you don't have a compressor like me, I'm not a full-time mechanic because I don't like working on cars. If you don't have a full-time compressor, get a leaf blower. Just blow this out and then wipe all this down. Get all this old stuff off here because you have a little bit of glue here. Make sure you clean all this stuff up. So I'm going to blow this off, wipe this down, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we did a base wipe down. We haven't got the rest of this because there's a couple of things I want to bring up right quick. I don't have an air pressure, so I just use a leaf blower. Okay. Now I traditionally just take a little bit of alcohol and wipe it down. But like I said a minute ago, we have some glue here. Now I'm particular, so I don't want anything to get in the way of the black bead seal that they have on the new gasket. Now I personally, when it comes to getting stuff off, I'm not going to show you the brand name because they don't pay me to do so, but we'll give them a plug verbally. Just a little bit. It's Goo Gone. It works the best. I'm using a regular paper towel, just bought at the store. Nothing fancy. You don't need any aggressive shop towels or anything like that. And again, this is just me being me. I'm picky, so again, anything really that you're sealing back together, no matter really what it is, if you have old material left from the previous sealer, you want to make sure you get rid of it. I'm just using a little bit at a time. The reason I don't pour it, just spray it on here, is I don't like creating a mess. I'm only after this little bead of stuff right here. I can tell you right now, this section here is going to be a pain in the butt. Because the sealer, the bead of sealer that they use is pretty thick. I mean, if you had the windshield out, that would be nice. The reason I'm not fast forwarding through this is I'm going to point something out to you also. When you get into this, being the HHR lover that you are, if you're bothering to go through all this and watch this video and take care of your car, like everybody should be taking care of their car, regardless of what it is. Again, I'm just spraying a little bit directly on the rag, scrubbing it right where I need it, and getting off any of the old glue, or if you don't go in here very much. I've been in here before, so I kind of halfway cleaned it the last time, but I don't want to have to buy another one of these gaskets. Alright, so now even though we can't see what's under that glass edge, I'm going to put a little bit right along here, sorry about bumping it. I'm going to V it, make a little wedge, go back and forth, press it in there, get that crap out of there. Yeah, because I can see some in there. There's a little screwdriver. Got this little screwdriver. Not worried about scratching it because it's all going to be covered anyways. You can see how much is in there. So you want to make sure you get rid of that. So, now there's plenty of y'all in there that may not bother cleaning it. It's just, again, I'm being picky because I don't want to have to do this again. So my screwdriver goes back on my table behind camera. My lid goes back on my goo remover. So, and then I have a clean paper towel here. I'll tell you why I'm making y'all suffer through this when I could just speed it up. Again, this is just alcohol, because sometimes these goo removers, depending on which one you use, leaves a residue behind. So I'm going to get rid of that residue. And the alcohol dries really quick, gives you a nice clean surface. Okay. All right. Now, why did I make you sit through all that and not just fast forward? It's because this white thing right here. Okay. Now, when I pulled it off originally, when I put my little $2 handy thing where I cut a bucket off, just improvising, I noticed mine was super black. Okay, what this is a filter. Now, your first instinct was, oh, I get another filter, which I ordered this one from AutoZone. And you may want to stick it in here. Don't do that. There's a little drawer up underneath the dash. So just pop down the thing, slide it out, slide a new one in. Don't try to change it from back here because it's a total pain in the neck. And you end up pushing down on these things, and it's not very sturdy. So just go up underneath the dash, and there's a little drawer there that's behind the glove box panel and so forth. But while you're in there, try to grab one of these. I think I spent 15 bucks for it, something weird like that. So you can change that while you're in here. All right. So we got a clean surface, no more goo. We're going to have to wedge this up in here. So let's take care of that. Let me get set up. All right, so we got a clean surface. Got my gasket. So again, this is the GM replacement gasket. All right, now when you do this, again, I still have the backing on, so it's not sticking yet. Not ready to apply it. Okay. Now the key point when you apply this thing is to start here first, because there's such a small edge here. Now, I don't know, on later models, the ledge might be a little bit more user-friendly, or if you have the windshield out, I've had mine replaced twice because of road chips from dump trucks. Again, but as a reminder, I drive a lot. But in the 2007, this is really small, so this is going to need to be your reference point, okay? Because otherwise, if you don't, this crap is not going to sit right, okay? You need this, you need these to line up. So and that's going to be hard to do. See how much of a lip there is with the windshield still in it? You're going to have to force this, okay? So when you grab it, again, I don't have the back on, okay, because I got to peel it off. I'm going to force this in there the best I can, okay? All right. Now you can feel the edge. So once I get it in there, I'm going to jam the piss out of it, and I'm going to force it, and then these are going to line up. And then the rest of your gasket, you can feel it along the edge where it's going to sit, okay? Now ideally having the windshield out is the best way to put this in on my particular model. Again, if you have a later model, there might be more space. I've never seen one, so you'll have to guess that when you get there. But on mine, I hope you have an option, but it's not, we can make it work. All right, so now let's peel it off and see if we can make this work without me buying another one. If you do want to use something like the small flathead screwdriver, if you do want to try to use something, once you get it in here and lined, make sure it's lined up here and here. If you do want to line it up and you want to use something to try to push this in, don't use a screwdriver, don't use anything metal, use something plastic, like a plastic spatula, something like that. Because if you use that screwdriver, like a flathead screwdriver, you're going to poke a hole in this and defeat the purpose of the gasket, okay? So like a putty knife or something like that. I'm not going to, I feel I don't need it, okay? I think I can make this work. But again, just when you're lining it, make sure you keep these guys in reference, okay? Make sure that everything's going to putty up right. Okay, so now let's do this. Let me stop running my mouth and let's get this over with. Now this is not the only reason HHRs leak. On the passenger side of the floorboard, this is not the only reason they leak. This is just one of the main things that you're going to see online that is the culprit. Make sure you don't grab it by the goo. You're going to be able to see through it, so don't worry. I'm going to push this in here. I'm going to lift it up because I got to move it over a little bit. There we go. That's better. Let's push this bad boy in here. That's going to be fine. I want to make sure my bolt's going to clear that plastic. Again, you can see through this, so you can make sure that this is sealing properly. My duct tape method obviously doesn't seal properly. I got a problem right here. I can see it coming. I'm going to have to pull this. There we go. Well, if the windshield was out, this would be a whole lot easier. See? You can see how well that stuff is sticking. See? Okay. Now the reason I got to pull mine up is because I didn't get far enough back here. It's okay. It's not one of those, it's not like 3M tape where once you drop it and then pull it, you're done, you're toast. You have that option. I'm making sure it seals here. Then making sure it seals over here. Alright, I can feel the bead. Sure we're sealed here. This isn't going to do any good. Again, this is just a plastic card. Just like putty, so smash it down, make sure it holds. Because if you don't, you're just wasting your time. Now what I am doing here is I'm rubbing backwards to kind of smush it. So, and spread it out a little bit. Make sure that seal is good. So I had to kind of force this back in here. Okay, so that's what I was wrestling with. And this side over here. So make sure you line it up. It's very important. But make sure you seal it. But the note, when you put your cowl back on, Rule of thumb, rule of thumb, rule of thumb. Water squirter first. The last time I had my windshield replaced, it didn't bother to stick this back in. So, that needs to be the very first thing you plug back in when you put your cowl back on. So. Make sure you get yourself lined up. Make sure you plug that water squirter back in. Which I don't blame him, because unless you have an HHR, you don't know. So that's rule of thumb. Now we got the cowl back placed back in. We're going to reclip our wiring here. So, push it up in. You want to test your water squirter before you bolt everything down. Please do. Make sure all clips are all in place. Okay. Your holes, you should be able to see them. Just line them up and then bolt everything back down in and you'll be good to go. So, and again, close your hood, slide this one on, lift your hood back up, readjust it, drop it down. Some people when they put their wipers down, if you like their position, they put a little piece of tape before they take them off. I personally don't. I can see the dirt mark from where mine are going to go. But if you want to make sure they go in the exact same place, just put a little tape mark here so when the blade sits, you can kind of line them up, tighten them down, and you're good to go. So I'm going to put my bolts back in, put my wipers back on, and we're done. So thanks for hanging out, but water squirter hose, first thing. You put the cowl back in, put the water squirter hose back in. So, and that's them guys right there. Thanks again for watching. Bye. Alright, I appreciate you hanging out with me. So, with my 2007 HHR. So, alright, so we got her all back together. So, all I gotta do now is put some clips in. So, okay, the reason I'm doing this little bonus clip here is to point out one thing, because I didn't think about it while we were doing it. So, all right, now this gasket that we now have replaced under here with one of the GM replacements, part number down in the comments. Also, there's an area here. I didn't think about it when I had the cowl off, so my apologies. But once you have the cowls off, look to the left-hand side down at the bottom. You're going to see a drain plug. It looks like a hole. Now, over time, traditionally, leaves don't get up under this thing, but it happens. You saw what I had to do when I cleaned it off. So when you pull this off and you look at that little filter that's inside the cabin, which again, don't change it from in here, change it from inside the cabin underneath the dash. There's a little drain plug here. Now, if you look down in there and see a bunch of leaves caked in there, you need to clean that out because that water builds up and it backs up. So that drain plug. So this cover is a culprit, okay? That drain plug is also another culprit. There's also another gasket down in the door, but we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that in another video. But there is a plug you can check while you have this off. So make sure you have it cleaned out. It literally goes straight through and then drains out. When you pour water in it, it'll drain out down here. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to test it. The glass is about to fall off. So, all right. So, but it's a drain that comes out and through the bottom. So. So, we have it changed. Appreciate you hanging out with me. So, and that's my girl. She's been good to me. So. Hope it helps. So, don't need a lot of tools to do it. Minimize it. Keep yourself a little table over here, or a towel on the ground, or a piece of cardboard, and you'll be good to go. So, all right. See y'all later.